All right, looks like we're live. Sorry for the lateness, folks. Things happen. I'll explain after the break. We're going to pick up where we were yesterday because I had some technical difficulties last night. This is what happens. You don't stream for a while. So I'm going to talk about the culture and those far right bigots right after the intro. Well, hey guys, I got to check to see if I have Any sound coming through? There we go. And I do. How are you guys doing? This is All Minus One. My name is Bill. What's going on, guys? I'm going to be your internet aggregate adjutant supreme tonight. I'm going to go through some things. Last night, we didn't quite get there. I was having fun doing the normal rambling I do. And I was having a good time with you all as much as possible. And then I tried to play some videos. I couldn't hear the volume. And this has been a persistent problem all night. So I was just calling in on the Matt and Blonde call-in show. I was spot reserved. Matt asked me to come on first thing, and I can't hear anything in this stinking headset I have over here. And then I hear this terrible scream from my wife because my daughter fell down the stairs, which was troublesome, but she's all right. She's, babies, they bounce. So I was a little shaken up. Then I finally got on the show and was trying to get across my stuff about old James O'Keefe, and you know, just to do a summary of that, I'll just do it right here since I said it. I was going to save it for them. Um, that's all done. I'm sure they'll hear more. First thing I noticed, of course, first thing, as soon as I bring this up, someone's like, "Oh, maybe they're biased." Why do I don't have we don't have any skin in the game on this on the James O'Keefe Project Veritas ordeal, other than telling the truth. Why would I be biased? A dozen times I'm like, I don't have anything. I don't have anything against James. What James do well, da da da. That's what people right away, super chatted to Good Logic, Joe Neerman, and Bill's a shield for the corporations and da da da. No, you're an idiot, dude. Not everything is always a freaking conspiracy. Sometimes, people aren't who you think they are. And James ain't a perfect person. And the way I explained it is people who feel like they're victimized in one way or another. James was feeling that way because he was being put on vacation. They can get a sense of self-righteousness. And Aiden Paladin just did a video about this a couple days ago, covering Eliza Blue and that whole ordeal. And so I think that's part of what was going on. James also has a huge ego. No one who actually knows James thinks that this is some sort of conspiracy theory other than maybe Tim Pool, but it's because Tim Pool is the same kind of person. James is just a different kind of level, right? And because James started off with Breitbart. And so let's talk about that. Let's go through this history because I didn't really get to do this with Matt. I did send him some links, but we'll talk about this real quick at the beginning of the show, and then we'll get into some other things, the stuff I wanted to talk about yesterday. And hey, guys, top of the hour, bottom of the hour, whatever it is, top of the hour, yeah, 11 o'clock. I'll be going to Rumble exclusively because, the longer I'm on YouTube, the more chance I have of them completely deleting the entire channel for any reason whatsoever. And it's like, I don't have a big following. Not like real viral or anything like that. I don't know. I talk a lot of sense, and sometimes I play both sides a little bit. I don't know if the interwebs likes that. I think being derisive is kind of really important to the interwebs. Let's see here. I'm gonna bigly this some. Yeah, do something else real quick here. I'm gonna change my display settings slightly. Gonna help me out a little bit. All right. Here we go. What a handsome fellow. And James is James, decent looking guy. He's well built. It's like 6'2". He's presence. Met his dad too. His dad looks exactly like him. Go figure, right? But James O'Keefe founded Project Veritas and Veritas Action after he pulled off some of the most consequential undercover journalism coups in a generation. And say, what was that? Well, it was this. It was this big pimp story. Now, James was a theater student, and they basically heard about this, and he did this on a whim. He wasn't trying to become anything. He got into undercover journalism because Breitbart helped him out. And in doing so, James found this passion. And I think, he was conservative and he doesn't like abortion, and he was happy that he could do something about that, and that was really cool. So, um, you can find this on Project Veritas Action. Talks about this whole thing. 2009, he did apply eventually for nonprofit status. It took him a while to get it. That was 2011. We're going to go through that here very soon, right after this. But it says here that he started working with Andrew Breitbart. And then it skips through all this stuff right here, kind of like is all about the Acorn thing. Nothing is really going on with Project Veritas. So you guys don't remember. You don't remember because you only know the celebrity now. The people only see what is up front now. And so in the following years, James O'Keefe and Project Veritas journalists released investigative reports that led to a reduction in federal funding in the national public radio, as well as numerous NPR executives being fired and retired. Da, 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 da. But this is still kind of small, right? Time. They're not really getting a lot. In 2014, Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius resigned April 10th, 3 weeks after the Government Accountability Office documented her role in raising money for Enroll America in an official capacity from organizations doing business with her department. So ethics violations, right? Out of an abundance of caution regarding IRS limitations, James funded Project Veritas. See? Action Fund for the purpose of conducting investigation associated with federal elections heading into 2014. And the reason why is because this is a legal issue. It has to be a separate organization, okay? Because it's political, okay? Whereas Veritas, this is Veritas Action. Veritas is a separate group. These are different entities, right? So, and these are legalities. And so you start talking about the Facebook and Google and all these other things, right? But if you notice, if you go through here, you'll start to see where everything's picking up at. It's around 2016, 2017, all of that. There's 2014, nothing mentioned till 2016. Okay. That's important. If we go and we look, let's see here. No, that might have just worked for me. Why did I do that? It's all right. So if we go here, this is not what I wanted. Here we go. This is ProPublica. How bigly this. This is a breakdown of Veritas's 990s, their tax filings. Okay. And their tax exemption status. Now, if you go through here, you can see how much money they earned every year, right? Here they're under $1 million. So people were talking about James being ahead of this company. And yes, he is the front man. He's the good showman, but there are people behind the scenes that actually make the magic happen. As I explained on Matt and Blanche's show, they're watching The Prestige this week. They're going to review it. Prestige happens to be one of my favorite movies. The two rival characters in the movies is the rivalry between a great showman and a great magician, a guy who has great amazing tricks, but he doesn't know how to present them, right? He doesn't know how to dress them up because people have different capacities. Whereas this other person has um, the showmanship, and that is James. He doesn't know how to operate everything in the background, which is why he needs people. That's why his company has 60 some odd employees. And so, anyways, you go through here, you see some names, chairmen, you see what they're getting paid. You see James not making a ton. I mean, good money, but it's not. This is the nonprofit world, okay? So gets a big bump again. This shows you down here all their assets, liabilities, and then this primarily is payroll, right? Salaries and wages. So here they're at 2.5 million in 2014. And you remember that. I just talked about that, right? Here we have these guys. We have a project manager. Notice like the turnover stuff. James talked about the turnover. Okay. So he's got directors. These are the people on the board. These are his friends. This is what everyone does for nonprofits. Okay. And there's turnovers. But why is that? It's not because James is mean. It's because he doesn't want to do the ideal things that are needed to be done. And you'd want to tell somebody who believes they can do anything no, and they don't really believe that because they think they can do anything. So it creates problems because not everyone operates like that. And again, this isn't a slight against James. It's just the reality. And this is what happened at Veritas. It was infighting all the time. So here in 2016, they got just under a $5 million budget. And I know for a fact that James was pushing for Adam Goulet, who's now the CEO of Accuracy in Media. And he got him. And Adam, at the end of the year, had raised their budget from this to that. It's one of the biggest jumps that they've had, right? You see this incremental jump every little bit. And then all of a sudden, you see Adam's name here. And the way a 990 works is only the people making over $100,000 are listed. Okay. So you see these directors down here, these board members, no compensation. Up here, got James with a big old cool 300,000, right? And you'll see here with Adam, this was his best year there. It was probably how he set it up. Because if you look at the next few years, he makes a lot less money. James, on the other hand, is making a lot more money. And people talk about, oh, James doesn't make that much. James, okay. He is quite well compensated, folks. So the whole issue with like the Uber Blacks and all, they're more expensive. They're luxury cars. He doesn't necessarily need to. And they talk about security stuff. Well, that's another whole nother issue. But it's these practicalities because people do complain and donors do complain. And I know they complain because I've heard about it because, guess who complains to me? My wife, who once worked there. And that's the way it is, right? You're the spouse of somebody who works somewhere. You're going to hear about certain things. And then we have people that we know that are still friends, like Mr. Adam Goulet. And if you go up here to 2019, this is the last year Adam was there, ducked out right at the end in November to go to Accuracy in Media. James is making just under $400,000 a year. Down here is Adam, right? The revenue, 12 million. So you watch this bump, right, from 8 to 12 and from 4 to 8. So here we kind of stall, and boom, builds. This is how this works because you're building relationships. Again, I don't know everything about cultivating donor relationships and all those kind of things. That's not my specialty, but I hear about it. I know these people. So I get a gist of it probably better than your average person. Because if I say development to people, they don't think nonprofit fundraising. They don't know what that even means. And and I've been with my wife through 4 or 5 jobs. What, 4? 4. When I first started dating her, like she was still working her old job and transitioning to a new job. And then that was at Students for Liberty. She went from Students for Liberty to then work at Project Veritas and then White Coat Waste Project, which is where she's at now, which was her dream job, and she's the director of development there. So, um, not making this kind of money though. I can tell you that. That'd be nice. Um, but and then here in 2020, all of a sudden there are 22. That's a $10 million, nearly double salary. Adam's not listed on here, but I can tell you that he setting up that team, all that other stuff, he was integral in Project Veritas growing to that extent. Also, part of this was the news stories, right? We can look at 2020 and the lockdowns that for sure probably helped, but guys, you aren't donating to Project Veritas. Like maybe someone listening to this channel is, but they're not getting their money from you. They're getting their money from boomers. That's how this game works. They're getting their money from other groups, think tanks that are like pull money together, like Soros type groups, right? Except for these are generally more right leaning, that kind of thing. So, you know, you have to keep all that in mind and just understand that basically James was asked to chill out, take a little vacation, and he just was not like he just he just wasn't happy about that. He didn't want to. Well, and part of it too, like he tried to fire Tom, the CFO. He's listed in those 990s, and you know, I there's some things he did that were shady. Like I said, you can go listen to the Beauty and the Beta thing. The wedding venue thing was kind of shady. I've made videos about this already. There's a lot of stuff. One of the reasons why I don't want to talk about it is because like too much. I want the perspective out there, but I don't want to talk about it too much because there are actually legalities to this. There are NDAs that people were trying not to violate, right? And if for those of you who aren't aware, I see spooks here. So if you don't know what NDA is, spook for some reason, that's a non-disclosure agreement. People sign them, right, when they go to work for somebody, so they can't tell industry secrets or whatever. Um, it's also one of those things where, like, if people talk, right, in these certain spheres and they know they talk, they might not get hired. So, I'm just some guy. I'm, uh, I'm just the husband. And so I can say some things. But, I didn't name my channel All Minus One without reason. And there's a reason. And it's because I will stand to the last ounce of truth, whatever it is out there. And I will correct myself if I'm wrong, but yeah, I will stand against everybody. I do not care because truth is my highest value. So it's it's really, I think, fundamental that people understand that this was a long buildup of infighting and nonsense, and James doing a lot of crazy stuff. And it's not because he's mean; it's just stuff that's like off task and off track for the business. And so the people that are trying to run this business like normal, right, are constantly having these fights with like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, with a guy who basically doesn't really believe he has any boundaries, like I said. So, anyways, that's it. Uh, well, Spook, yeah, I mean, I figured you might, but I mean, you seem to understand a lot of things. Let me see what the chat's going on. If anybody's over on Rumble, uh, I don't see anybody over there. Oh well, huh? Didn't really advertise this one, but this is what I'm going to be doing, Spook. If you want to catch me, I'll be streaming about 10 p.m. Eastern. I came in late today because of stuff I already explained. Baby falling down the stairs and, doing the Matt Blonde call-in show, which was supposed to be scheduled in, and I had tech issues. So um, it doesn't matter, Spook, but I will at the top of the hour at 11, I will be going to Rumble. So I was saying bottom of the hour because I was running late because I did run so late. But basically YouTube's too dangerous, man. They're too silly. It's stupid. Rumble's the future. I don't know. I lost a sub yesterday or today, I guess. I don't know, or yesterday from our stream yesterday, maybe. I don't know. I never know. But on YouTube, I have like 20, 10, 20 views, on videos. I looked today, my video I put out yesterday. I don't know who watched it, how long, whatever. And this is just while I was setting up the stream. I wasn't really looking at analytics, but views, at least eyes on. I don't know if they watched the whole thing or how much they watched, what the retention rate was, any of that stuff, because I don't really track that stuff. Never really cared about it. I'm, you know, it's not really my thing. Anyways, that was literally 135 views or something. I'm like, do I have 135? I don't even have that many followers on Rumble. But yeah, I mean, that's what it said. I have 36 followers right now on Rumble. But anyways, I should be hopefully more consistent than I have been a little bit in the past. Um, let's see here. Let's get so I'm not very prepared today. I was prepared and then things happened. And yeah. Let's get my show notes up. So yesterday I was talking about oh, oh no, it is up here. Hold on. Well, I was talking about old Uncle Ted and his book on the industrial society, whatever the name of the the manifesto is, and leftism, and some of the things he really got right in there. Now, I think that Uncle Ted himself was a leftist because he believed in some sort of revolution or something of some means, and that is the primary dictate of what makes a leftist is the idea of revolution. Now, the secondary dictate is utopianism. And the tertiary is, of course, collectivism. And if you have all three of those for certain, you are a leftist. And then, of course, not all leftist ideology is actually based in Marxism. For instance, Sorel, who was not a Marxist, um, influenced the supposed right wing that we know as fascism, and very specifically also, the fascist in Germany, if they are fascist at all, but the Nazi Party or the Socialist Party, Workers' Party of Germany. And the interesting thing is all the morons say, oh, just because it's in the name doesn't all the lefties say all that. You merely need to read like table talk, like the notes that Hitler said that was recorded and released. There are other books written about him that may be less accurate, that may be propaganda, although I don't know. But they could be certainly embellished. That have some ideas that definitely show that. But the reality is that all the lefties embraced him back in the day. And again, that's not the kind of left right we're talking about here. I'm talking about liberty versus enslavement. And that's really the other thing with the leftists is they are enslavers. How you doing, Josh? Man, I was thinking about calling you the other week. I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, I don't know if you end up making your move out. I don't want to disclose where you're going. I'm sure you probably don't care, um, but I've been figuring some things out on my end out here. So my wife and I are actually looking at a piece of property right now. It's a good jumping off point. Not sure if I'm going to be satisfied with that because I'm on this mission right now where I think that the only way to escape the Great Reset in all of its totality, whether it fully is implemented or not, is another issue, but or at least on time. But we're going to have demographic collapse. We're going to have supply chain collapses. We're going to have a lot of bad stuff because it just takes too long to build the infrastructure and it's not set. So there's going to be these things happening. And what we're seeing now are the trickles. So um, I think the only way to really beat this thing is to gain wealth, because wealth provides freedom and power. Becoming a passport bra. Not really, but a nomad capitalist, perhaps. In any case, we shall see. We'll see where that goes. You know what? I forgot to set up Entropy. Yeah, I'm all kinds of kerfuffled. All kinds of kerfuffled. And last night I was having audio issues and all kinds of stuff. It was really annoying. But what I want to talk about, or I was trying to talk about, and it's going to be pretty relevant, is the whatever podcast. And not so much because it's like, the whatever podcast has been doing really well um in the younger demographic of males who are single, and see how these people out there are completely crazy, these women very specifically. And they're basically, or Brian Atlas is a comedian. He's basically the nice white boy, fresh and fit. And this is important. Following these things very important, because it shows the morality of our society and its decay, and where the problem really is. And when I talk about these people being synthetic, I'm going to show you, because what we're going to watch is we're going to watch a clip with Sovereign Bra, who Chase, who because of this clip, Tim Pool brought him on. But not only that, but Michael Knowles gets to react to this clip because whatever has him on, and the conversations are astounding. They're absolutely astounding, and it speaks to the old the T's, not the L or the B's and the G's, but the T's, the T's, those T's. Well, I mean, what what did I put on Twitter? I just put something up there about the T's. Because let me find that real quick. Let me find it. Oh, come on. Yes. Dennis Pratt put on Twitter. I'll just pull this up. So he put, announced so far the Free Province Project, New Brunswick, the Socialist State Project, Vermont, the Catholic State Project, to be determined. I'm not sure what that means, unless he just means he's using the word for what it actually means, which is universal. Should there also be a trans state project? Which state would best be best to mirror the Libertarians' Free State Project, but for transgenders? And of course, I was mean. I'm mean, but it, these people, uh, they deserve to be talked to like they act. Um, and yeah, if only the lazy and vapid had the ability to build anything. Their nowhere place is only attained by literal force every time. That's all they know is revolt, revolution, murder, death. It is the cult of death, folks. Producing nothing, they only destroy. This is the way of death. Also, how many mentally ill people can you put in one place before it becomes an asylum? I mean, it's yeah, it's one of those things where like this is a social contagion. This is a trend. It's a trend. It's an act of cowardice that people are going along with it. People are starting to get fed up with it, and then you have something like what happened yesterday with a shooter, and you get the tease coming out saying that that religion's bad, and like it was okay that 2 9-year-olds died, or 3 9-year-olds died, and 3 adults. The one girl died pulling the fire alarm, from my understanding. I mean, and I don't even want to think about that because that'll get me like deeply, because that'll get me really fired up. I mean, I just heard my wife scream earlier today, right before I was supposed to go on, scheduled to go to the Matt and Blonde show, having technological difficulties, being very frustrated, and my wife lets out this blood curdling scream. My daughter fell down the stairs the whole way. She's been going up and down the stairs for over a year. And we watch her, we're with her. She's never fallen. She fell down the stairs, has a big old goose egg on her head. I heard that scream. I thought there was going to be blood, and I had no idea what was going on. She's all right. But my Lord, to think of a little girl brave enough to go pull a fire alarm. I mean, mm, it's sad. But, that person will receive their judgment in due time. Um, there's like another tweet on here. Well, that's a good one. um, I don't know. There's something else on here that oh, you know what? This was in response. Somebody, I guess some libertarian person, I think, was like trying to be like blaming all men's, like blaming all trans people or something like that, and it's like, or blaming all most mass shooters are men, so we don't blame all men. Da, da, da. It's like I don't think anyone's blaming someone like this weird made up group, but um, what they're saying is that what that guy says, being male is not a mental illness, though. And I was like, yeah, this is stupid. And this is synthetic sloganeering, seeding as solipsistic, sociopathic sympathy. uh, Loathing yourself and this world as a prison of biological cruelty is esoteric Gnosticism. That's true. That's what the mystery cults are about, folks. You're trapped here in the prison of this world, just like you're trapped in the wrong body. The death cult continues, and I said that because that's what this is. This is a cult of death. Always has been. Always has been. And so we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna switch over to Rumble, guys. You're currently fasting for Ramadan. Well, good, Spook. Fasting is good for you. It's funny because I've been aside from fruit, more or less been fasting lately during the day. I've always kind of intermittent fast, but usually break that around noon or something. Um, but yeah, had very recently been doing that. Um, that's one thing. Like that's one thing in my beliefs in like Christianity, because like I think that those things are good. They build discipline, and the Christians set those things up specifically for people in the church to have disciplines, why they have all the feasts and fasts and all that stuff. And the reason why they do them like that and they do them together is to build a sense of community together. There's no regulation to it. In fact, the scriptures tell us very specifically that all that there's no regulations to any of that kind of stuff. So those things are built in to help discipline those who lack it, and most people lack discipline. But with that, guys, I'm going to go over to the Rumbles. A short one on YouTube tonight because I got started so late. But you know, let's just let's go over there. I'm gonna switch this off. Give you like 5, 6 seconds, 10 seconds. I'm saying I've been live for 39 minutes, and so Yeah, 40 minutes now, and I guess we'll be off here. Hold on.
The left the pedos, 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 pedo. That's all people should hear when they think of left-wing politics. And there's so many examples of